Hello, I'm back again, this time with notes on Chapter 6 of House of Leaves. If this is the first video of mine that you stumbled upon, I recommend that you probably go back to my notes on the introduction and watch from there, because a lot of things that I say in these videos are linked with previous videos and previous notes. So some of the stuff I say might not make sense if you haven't watched those videos. It's part of a playlist. I'm sure it's easy enough to find. So yeah, let's dive into Chapter 6, beginning with the epigraph. First talking about Ernest Becker. So this quote is from his book Denial of Death, which is about the psychological and philosophical implications of how people and cultures have reacted to the concept of death. It's about how humanity has a dualistic nature consisting of a physical self and a symbolic self, and by concentrating on the symbolic self, we can deny the physical death by creating meaning and the myth of the importance of human life. In the book, he also talks about the Causa Sui project. I don't know what language that is, and I'm pretty sure I butchered the pronunciation, but this is also sometimes called an immortality project or heroism project. A person's Causa Sui project acts as their immortality vessel. At the other extreme, Becker describes schizophrenia as a state in which a person becomes so obsessed with his or her personal immortality project as to altogether deny the nature of all other realities. Schizophrenics create their own internal mental reality in which they define and control all purposes, truths, and meanings. This makes them pure heroes, living in a mental reality that is taken as superior to both physical and cultural realities. I've talked before about how Pelafina is our most likely character to have schizophrenia, and that has also probably gone down to Johnny as well. That speaks to the authorship of the book, and whether this is an immortality project by Pelafina or Johnny, maybe Zampano. Who knows who the author is. As I said, I'm going just through my notes. I'm not going through it too much in depth about theories and stuff at this point. The next epigraph here is from an essay called Concept of Space, which is an essay on architecture. Now, a lot of books referenced from this point on are going to be about architecture. The epigraph of this book, The Concept of Space, is also interesting. I thought I'd include it here. Like the spider with its web, so every subject spins out, like the spider's threads, its relations to certain qualities of things, and weaves them into a solid web which carries its existence. And that quote is from Jacob von Uexkull, Uexkull, which I thought was interesting. That this is probably like what I'm doing. I'm throwing out all these spider webs, hoping to weave them into a solid web of theories, if it's possible. I don't think it's possible, but I'm going to try nonetheless. The essay that it's the Concept of Space essay is about what constitutes a creature is not just the pieces which make up the physical body, but also the surroundings the creature perceives. This is particularly interested in how living beings perceive their environment. He argues that organisms experience life in terms of species-specific spatio-temporal self-in-world subjective reference frames that he calls Umwelt. So this idea that a creature or a person is also part of the environment as a whole. So like Navidson is the house, Zampano is Navidson, Johnny is Zampano, everything is all one big giant spider web, and who's in the middle? Who's the big spider? Who's the author? Is generally what people look for. Yeah. So there's this. I was wondering what this big blank space is. If anyone has any ideas, I'd be interested to hear. Okay. Page 77, this note goes to page 77. We get some coded messages. Let me move these notes out of the way. We have this phrase, thinking has another missing year resolved in song. And if you take the first letter of each word in that phrase, you get the term thamorous. And he's also referenced on page 387. Find that page. 387. I didn't highlight it, but oh, here, thamorous. That house answers many yearnings remembered in sorrow. And again on page 514, we get another one. We get a reference to him specifically mentioning Thamorous on page 387, but also he's also mentioned on page 77. And Thamorous is a character from Greek mythology. He challenged the Muses to a contest and he lost. As a result, he was blinded and stripped of his poetic ability. So, when we hear about blind characters, my mind goes to Zampano. This phrase I also thought was interesting. Sun a star on a nothing's back. So sun a star could mean sinister, but the whole phrase seems odd, and everything that stuck out as unusual I wrote down. I was playing around with acronyms and anagrams. As I said in other videos, I do a lot of far-reaching and it doesn't always make sense, but so I took the letters S-A-S-O-A-N-B, and the only phrase I could come up with from that is sans oba, which is Croatian for without both. And the reason I say that kind of works is because we get another reference to Kilkenny disappear. They are only cats, but cats to Kilkenny disappear. And that is a limerick. And I'm going to read that limerick out loud. We do get a reference previously to Kilkenny, the photographer who did Bonnetstown. That house was in Kilkenny, Ireland. So Kilkenny is a prominent, at least referenced twice, in House of Leaves. So here's the limerick. There once were two cats of Kilkenny, each thought there was one cat too many, so they fought and they hit and they scratched and they bit, till accepting their nails and the tips of their tails, instead of two cats there weren't any. So you're without both cats. Yeah. Bit of a stretch, but we have it there. And then we get these references to whim, more acronyms. So he says specifically here, it's too dark and difficult and without whim. I'm in a whimsical frame of mind. So where have I moved? Makes it obvious there because they're capitalized. What have I muttered? Who have I met? And then we get it on this page as well. Everything whimsical has left. And we get this phrase as well. Everything whimsical has left. Where I left death, which could be wild. On page 79 here, we have it knows nothing of whim. So, some interesting, I think very obvious clues. He's like hand feeding us these clues that are going to come, these codes that are going to be becoming more relevant later on in the text. So yeah, that's actually it for chapter 6. It's a very short chapter. Let me know what you think of that chapter and what whim could possibly mean. And thank you for watching.